Then without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Episode 98. I will start by saying I took a little bit of a break because I've been just, I took my LSAT and then I went on spring break, my last spring break. But I feel kind of dishonest doing an episode right now because I cut my hair off. So I had a man bun, but it's all gone now. And my
Yeah, the cut
logo.
was good.
Yeah, thanks, man. But like, before we introduce you, but like my logo has long hair, and so now I'm having my artist friend Oliver make me a new one. But yeah, off that digression, what's up, man? Welcome back. Just for people who didn't
Appreciate you,
listen to
bro.
you, for people who didn't listen to the episode last time, just introduce yourself, who you are, how I know you, and what you do, bro.
My name's Kendall Blakely. I make music. My rap name is OWKZ, One Way Kings. Uh, Me and Colin went to high school together and played on the same football team. So that's how we met. That's how we know each other. And shit, was just still in touch.
Yeah, man, and the cool thing, like I think we talked about this last time, is that like we're both doing something that's completely different, but
Man,
it's a creative endeavor, and
yeah,
it's it's bringing something positive to the world. And I see a lot of things on I go on TikTok a lot. I don't know if you do, but like because I create content, and most of my content I make it for YouTube because that's where I get most of my views. Like audio, I get most of my podcast listens through like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but I get most of my like clips and episode like teaser kind of content out on YouTube. But I
yeah,
create them through TikTok and everything. And the cool thing about an app like that, and the cool thing about people that I know, like you and Jake, and even Scales to an extent, is like you can really market yourself in 2022, unlike any time before. And this is the perfect time to do something creative because there's no limits to what you can and cannot do. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you, man. You could do anything at this point. All you need is a phone and somewhere to upload your content for real.
Mm-hmm. So, what have you been doing recently with the music stuff? Have you been traveling a lot? Have you just been like hunkering down and writing? What does 2022, the
Man,
beginning, look like for you?
2022, the beginning, man, I just been, more focused on normal life shit. I just had a kid, and he's three
Congrats,
months.
man.
He's 3 months now, so I really been focusing on that. I haven't been doing too much music, but I got a lot of songs wrote this year. I've wrote like 14, 15 songs. I just haven't went to the studio to record it yet. So really, yeah, I'm in the writing stage right now, but I'm gonna get back in the studio real soon and start putting shit out again.
Mm-hmm. Last time we talked, you were talking about investing in some real estate and doing things like that.
Yeah.
Have you started to do that, or has that tapered away since you
Uh,
had a kid?
uh, that did change since I had a kid, because after I found out I was about to have a kid, I wanted to make sure everything was right for him. So instead of investing into things like that, it went towards like all the stuff that he would need,
Mm.
and my music too. So I think real estate gonna have to happen this year though, for sure. Now that I'm getting back on track and getting back to focusing on what I got going on.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I always hear is that as soon as no one prepares you to have a kid, but as soon as you do, it changes your viewpoint on everything. What
Man,
has changed for you since the birth of your son? And also, what is his name?
man.
If you don't mind by
He's,
sharing.
he's a junior. His name's Kendall too. So
Nice.
I call him KJ.
Nice.
Yeah, but shit, since having a kid, bro, nothing's really changed, bro. I'm really still focused on the same goals, because my goals are gonna be good for him too. But what really, if anything did change, bro, I just want to get more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I already wanted to make more money than I'm making, and I'm making good money, but you know what I mean? Like now that I have a kid, I just want him to have everything and anything he ever needed. I don't ever want him to go without. So I just want to create a better life for him than I had.
No, yeah, definitely. And like it seems like it's more like your life just kind of like you're doing things for him now too. It just kind of like
Yeah,
adds more fuel to the flame. It's not like
yeah,
you can be as reckless or as like, like as individualistic. It's almost like a forced collectivization when you have a kid. It's like
yeah,
he's now a part of you and half your life is protecting and creating a life for that man.
Definitely, man. I feel that 100%. That's exactly how I've been feeling lately. Like, it's not just about me no more, you know?
Hmm.
Like, now I have a mouth to feed. So it's like, everything is more serious at this point, you know? Like, I don't have room to fuck up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so I'm about to go to law school next year. I don't know where
Okay,
exactly.
congratulations.
Thanks, man. But
I'm gonna need a lawyer.
yeah, you got me. uh, but I like, it's like I'm still like on my own, you know, like I'm like still like by myself. Like if I had a kid right now, my whole life would be like almost tunneled, you know, almost tunnel vision.
Yeah,
Like I could fuck up right now and like understand that I got people behind me that could support me if I like severely messed my life up. But like
yeah,
a lot of the time when you're sitting there and your life takes a different route, or you have like the birth of your son or a daughter, it's like you're like, all right, it's my time now to hunker down and be the provider and be the man that my family needs. And you know, this is like the whole woke agenda. Like I get it and stuff, like breaking down toxic masculinity and all that stuff, but it's like I feel
mhm,
like when something as biological as having a kid breaks out, it does make those like innate like people like aspects, traits come out, like being a man, providing, and like and then being like a mother, caring, you know, giving, nurturing, like those things just innately come out when you have a son or a daughter. Do you feel that way?
uh, yeah. If anything, man, I just feel like I want to protect him more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like because I've always been a provider and a go getter, and that type of thing. But now I'll be thinking about protecting him. Like I don't know. I've always been very aware of my surroundings, though.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like on a different level. So I'll just be trying to move better and you know move smarter.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this last time too, but like I want to get your perspective again. It's like, do you like we talked about how like you're not that you're not like tough or anything, but you're a nice dude, you know,
Yeah,
you're a caring man, and but you like look extremely like physically scary on the outside and how people perceive you, you know, how people perceive you. Have you
yeah,
found that like, you know, like now raising a son and stuff, you have to teach him when he's growing up the way that society views black men and just men in general, tough people, and how to like be caring but also still be strong, and also how to take that in and how to channel like, you know, what it's going to be like for him. You know, have you ever thought about that?
yeah. Definitely, I've thought about that because I've experienced some situations in my life, and I just want him to be able to handle them the same way and not act in a way that could end him up, hurt or in jail, So definitely, yeah, I know I'm gonna have to teach him and explain to him why it's different and how he should act about certain things and
Mm-hmm.
like how he should respond to certain situations.
You know, sometimes I think about this because, you know, I'm about to go to law school, but I studied uh, philosophy and politics the last 4 years just because that's like the stepping stone to law school. And I've thought about this, especially in the United States. The life that, you know, people live is so different, you know, than people really think. Like the life I live versus the life you live versus the life a woman lives versus the life a Hispanic woman lives. You know, they're all so different, and we forget sometimes, especially me and like other people, we forget sometimes how, you know, how families and cultures are so different, and like what you have to teach the next generation is so particular to who those people are. And and you know, it's, especially in a climate like right now where it's super hostile, you know, and it's super like
Yeah,
anti everything, and inflation's rising and there's a war going on. It seems as though like at some level those differences, like the differences in race and gender and everything, they need to go away, and everyone needs to be like, all right, you know, we're in this together, you know. At some
yeah,
level that has to be the case, but at another level it's like, but these lives are so different, and like me versus you getting pulled over is such a different experience that you could only teach it to someone who looks like you know. It's a hard
yeah,
question, but it's such a different reality for everyone, you know.
definitely, man. I definitely feel like now is more than a time than ever that we all need to come together, because it is a lot of bullshit going on right now. And like, yeah, and like you said, bro, it would be hard for me to explain how it feels to be pulled over, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I get pulled over, even if I didn't do shit wrong, bro, I'm already feeling like fuck, you know. And I carry a gun, but it's legal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get pulled over, you know, I still be feeling a little iffy, like damn, I got a firearm, I'm black, I got my whole face and neck is tatted, you know, like I'm already fitting that type of description, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nerve wracking for me when I get pulled over. Like, just last night, bro, I got followed home. I live in a nicer neighborhood, you know, and I drive a Mercedes Benz, and this cop passed me going this way. Like I'm passing him, he's passing me, and he fucking flips a bitch, bro, and gets behind me and follows me all the way to my neighborhood. Like I'm talking like two stoplights and a stop sign, bro. And I know he was reading my plates, but there was nothing on there for him to, you know, there's no reason to pull me over, bro. And he followed me all the way, literally until I turned into like where I park at. Shit was crazy.
Yeah, and like situations like that are so weird. So I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm actually taking a course on police right now, like the history
Yeah,
of policing and stuff, and it's so prevalent that that happens, and like it's such a weird phenomenon because it's like you can't explain it. Like in your situation, it's like I'm not doing anything wrong. Why is it happening to me? And then from their
yeah,
situation, it's like they don't even know they're doing it half the time. They're being racist, but it's just so
yeah,
implicit that like it's like on action. And it you know, one of the things that I've learned within the last few years, I mean, obviously, like living with Dion, like I've
yeah,
seen, you know, one of the examples before I get into this, one of the examples I'll get into is we got pulled over. I'm driving on the way back to Oregon because we go to the same school, right? And after we get pulled over, you know, me being a young dumb white kid, you know, I'm just like reaching to grab my shit, you know, like I'm reaching
yeah,
to grab my like the glove, the stuff out of the glove box, you know, like the title or whatever. No, not the title, but like the insurance and stuff.
yeah,
And Dion's got his hands on the dash. You know, he's like, stop moving, stop moving. And
yeah,
like I reflect on that, and I think in that moment of both of our ignorance in a sense, you know, but I think about it and how like back to something I said like a couple minutes ago, it's like those our realities are so different, and what we were told by our parents are so different. And like my experience with
yeah,
police officers is never that, you know, I need to be aware of what's going on because you know I don't have to fear for that, you know, but his experience is like that. And so when you get followed by home, like you said, you're not doing anything wrong.
yeah,
The only thing that you have to do is you're driving something nice and you're a black man. That's literally it. And so like that it's so prevalent that it's like it creates this like this question is like what how do you stop that from occurring? You know, what is
yeah,
next? Like how do you like take away this implicit bias of these people while also still like protecting communities, you know?
yeah. Man, one I got pulled over maybe a few months ago, and when I did get pulled over, he was like, he asked me, he said, "How do you afford this car?" That's what he said. You know, like he wouldn't ask you that question. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it. You know, or you know, maybe some people would like if they really like the car, but I knew he didn't mean it like that. You know, and I don't know, shit like that kind of bugged me. I'm like, bro, like really irritate me. I'm like, man, get out my face. That's
Yeah.
what I be wanting to say, but of course I'm not gonna say that. You know, and there's something else I was just about to say, man. Fuck. I hate when it happens when you lose your
Yeah.
train of thought. Man, what was I just about to say? Damn, I forgot. Fuck
No,
it.
you're good. If you remember, just hop
It'll
back
come
in.
back to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll come back for sure.
it reminds me of
Oh, okay. I remember.
go
I
ahead.
remember now. Look, that's crazy, huh? But like you said, when you got pulled over, you like reaching around for your stuff
Mhm.
and grabbing shit. When I'm getting pulled over, bro, as I'm like pulling over, I'm already grabbing that shit out of there. And so when he
Mhm.
gets to the window, I can
Mhm.
literally just hand him everything without having to reach for anything and then put my hands back on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't have to reach for shit, you know?
Mhm.
Because that same time when they asked me, how do I afford that car?
Yeah.
You know, uh, I was reaching into the glove box. This is what made me do that type of thing, though, you know? I was reaching into the glove box, and it was a cop on this window and a cop on this window. And they had me roll all four windows down, and they look, you know, with the flashlight. It was at night. So they're looking in the car and shit. and he asked for my license registration and shit. So I'm reaching to grab my license and registrations out of the glove box, and he's like, "Easy, like slow down." You're like, "Slow, slow," like, come on, man. I'm trying to go home like you. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody. I'm not about to do nothing stupid.
Yeah, it's such a power dynamic for those motherfuckers. It's like
Yeah. I
it.
have a theory too. That
What's your theory?
not all cops. I've met some cool cops.
Yeah.
I've met some cool cops who are real laid back and genuine people, but I feel like the majority of them were kids that got bullied in fucking school and then graduated and became cops. And now they're using that power.
Mm,
Because they didn't have
yeah.
that power, so they're manipulating that power now. Somebody who's never had power, when they get the slightest amount of power, they're gonna abuse it. And that's what I think when it comes to like over excited cops, like cops who want something to occur, that they're looking for a reason. I feel like that's those kids. But like I said, I've met some real cool laid back cops who weren't even on that type of time, just doing their job, giving me a speeding ticket and getting on with their day.
Yeah.
Not, like I said, not all cops, but some of them, man, I feel like are those people who are power hungry.
Well,
They
definitely, and
never had it. Yeah.
yeah, and some of them like maybe they don't even know. Maybe they're getting into it for the right reasons, but once they get that power, it corrupts.
Yeah. Because
I
who polices the police? I've seen cops on their phone. I've seen cops run stop signs. I've seen cops do fucking 90 on the freeway, and I'm getting pulled over for doing 85. 90. So they're doing the same thing that they're telling us not to do.
That exact question is why like things that are like police commissions, so like civilian commissions to like basically police the police are being created. In like Portland,
Okay.
there's a civilian commission to like it's like a board that's like a committee that's going to be commissioning the police.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a good question, dude. It's tough because I just read the history of policing America, and not only is it like police is just like this with the military in the United States,
Yeah.
but it's also, as everyone knows, linked with racism. 100%.
Uh-huh.
Policing America is 100% linked with racism. We know that. Like you can't. It's an undeniable fact. Like
Yeah.
Jim Crow laws existed until the
Yeah.
1960s. Like it's, and we talk about a lot about the policing of Black Americans, but what we don't talk about like is the policing of Indian people, or I guess the book
Yeah.
uses it as Indians, but it's Native Americans, and
Yeah.
how we were just the old police forces were just horrible to these people and militaries, and so it's tough because, like you said, there are a lot of cops in today who are just like
Yeah.
they're not necessarily racist or even maybe even have any biases, but they are corrupted by the systematic problems of the entire police force. The problems
Yeah.
that have existed throughout history in the United States, they whittle down into the police force. So like the blue coat of silence, an example of that is like how police they're brothers and they don't speak on corruption, or they don't speak on bad things. Like let's say a bad situation occurred, they would lie for them
Yeah.
to back their brothers, which is like it's trust and loyalty, but it's also like
Yeah.
because of that we have things like racism that get to slip through the system.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, it's like I'm not smart enough to decide what the next move is, but there's so many problems, and I think that's part of the outcry today is like there's so many problems that exist with racism, especially with policing and especially with Black Americans. That's like, where can we go from here
Yeah.
without flipping the system upside down entirely,
Yeah. I really don't even understand why racism is a thing, man. Like,
I don't either, man.
we all bleed, we all need air, we all need water and food to survive, and we're at some point we're all alike, we're all trying to survive, keep a roof over our head, food in the refrigerator, a nice paying job, and like we don't, or not even a nice paying job, a nice paying, a nice income in general. It doesn't even have to be a 9 to 5, just a nice income that can support your lifestyle, and nobody nobody was really here besides the Native Americans. Everybody else migrated here. Like racism shouldn't be a thing. Like nobody was here in America but Native Americans, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different tribes and stuff.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense why racism even exists when this is a country of immigrants.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it started out as like the fear of the other, like people who don't
Yeah.
look like you and don't live like you.
Yeah. I think racism is definitely is fear has to do with
Oh, for sure.
insecurities. Definitely insecurities or fear. Doesn't make sense for it to be just strictly hatred.
Yeah,
Because I think hatred is stemming from fear and insecurities.
for sure. I don't think you can say anybody who has ever hated anyone hasn't either feared that person and or resented because of something that happened, or
Yeah.
like at some level it's such a weird thing because it's so prevalent, but it's so like non-existent in our everyday lives. Like going to basic, there wasn't any like
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
people. We didn't hate each other. We all just kind of
I
hung out.
never felt I never felt uncomfortable at basic, bro.
No,
Or
me neither.
even over there, yeah, like at all. Like it was all good vibes everywhere.
And if you didn't like somebody, it was not because the color of their skin. It was
Yeah,
because
definitely wasn't because you
they were
could. It
being a
was,
bitch.
yeah. Man. Yeah, there was never any type. I never seen any type of racism there.
And I think that's true of like the majority of people, but there are people and
Yeah.
that there's people's
Yeah.
grandfathers, and it slips
Yeah.
through.
Definitely.
There's people who truly believe that they're better than other people, and it's it's such a weird thing
Man,
to
you
take it
know
that
where I did experience racism?
where.
Fucking Iowa, bro. When I went to go play football out there, heavy racism out there, bro. Like I'm talking about just heavy. And really, bro, they didn't even know they were being racist. There were just certain remarks and
Mhm.
questions that they would ask, and it would come off as racist, or they wouldn't even understand it. And some people would tell me that, like, they'd be like, because they grew up on a farm somewhere in Iowa, not in the city, because I went to Des Moines, which is the biggest city in Iowa, and the kids that were coming to that school were from like farms, like small towns and things, and they'd be like, "You're the first black person I've ever seen," and like in person though, they're not talking about TV. Like yeah, they've seen them on TV, movies, things like that, but in person, they're like, "You're the first black person I've ever seen. Why is your hair like that?" Like just I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn. I'm here to play ball and go to school, man. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, for those people, I think a lot of that is just like curiosity,
Yeah,
like they've been told, like
yeah,
it's they've heard, and they lived a life
yeah,
of quiet, white remarks, and then they
yeah.
get to be there and they're like, I don't necessarily hate this person, but this person doesn't look like me. What does this person live like?
Exactly. Yeah,
I think we're blessed to live in somewhere like as diverse as Las Vegas, or we were to grow up, because like I said, we grew up in a world where like there were white kids saying the N-word and no one was saying anything
yeah,
to them because they weren't using it as a derogatory term. They were using it as like
yeah.
a friendly
Like
remark.
homeboy
Yeah.
or shit like that.
And looking back, it's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't do that. But it's
Yeah,
also like when you're young and dumb, like it's if you're all like thinking everyone's the same, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with
yeah.
thinking everyone's alike and getting along with everybody?
Uh,
I wanted to ask you something that I thought of because I was thinking about Will Smith in the Men in Black when he was pulled over, when you got pulled over, when you were telling that
yeah.
story, and he was like just because you see a black man driving a car doesn't mean he stole it. But that made me think of Will Smith smacking the shit out of Chris Rock, and I wanted to get your opinion on that and what you thought about that whole situation.
Man, honestly, I feel like I know there's a line with loyalty, but I feel like his wife hasn't been loyal to him. I'm not gonna go out my way to protect a woman who's embarrassing me. So of course, if somebody's bad mouthing my wife or my girl, or I'm gonna defend her. But Chris Rock is a comedian. First of all, he's supposed to make fun of shit and bring light to stuff in a funny way. I'm sure he didn't mean it as in trying to bully her, or he was just being funny, like how he is. Like he was at the Oscars, he's making jokes, he's trying to make people laugh. That's all
Yeah.
he was doing, and I feel like Will took it too far, especially to defend somebody who's been embarrassing him for the past 2 years. Like it'd be different, and he would still be wrong, even if his wife was being loyal, in the way she should be. I feel like he still took that joke to heart, and Chris Rock didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
And it's alopecia. A lot of people have alopecia. It's not like she's dying, or she's just losing her hair. People go bald all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, bro. People lose their hair with age. It happens. And I feel like he took that shit way out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do all of that. And really, he could have just said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. He didn't have to get up out of his seat, walk up on stage and slap him. And if he honestly felt some type of way about it, bro, he could have been a man and talked to him in private. Like, hey man, I didn't like how you were talking about my wife. Da 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 da. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. He could have said it like that, but he embarrassed himself, and I can relate to it though, because it's been times where I've acted out of anger, and did some shit in front of a bunch of people where, maybe I didn't have to do it that way. Maybe I could have spoke to that person in private instead of, slapping the fuck out of them in person, like Will Smith, man. He didn't have to do all that, but I definitely see where he was coming from. But I feel like he took it too far over a joke.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the coffin. I think, there's many times, I'm sure he was drinking. I'm sure, and there's a lot of times where someone said something to me when I was drinking that rubbed me the wrong way, and we get into an altercation,
Yeah.
And, I take it two-way. I think he was out of pocket. I think you're at the Oscars, bro. I think you're like, you cannot act that way. Like, that's not a civilized way of acting. And then another part of me thinking, yeah, he should get all the consequences that he deserves from the altercation. But then also, like, this is the perfect time for somebody to fuck up and you to forgive them, and then they come back better. Like this.
Yeah.
I hate how if people make one mistake, we just crucify them nowadays. Like, why can't people make mistakes and then get better? You know what I thought about the other day? I thought about, could you imagine, let's say someone grew up with a family that was super fucking racist, and they instilled those beliefs, and they were hatred, and they were racist, but then they grew up and they're like, you know what, this is not the way I want to live. And they actually made an effort, and they changed the way, and they really resented the way they were before, but they changed their beliefs, and they stood up, and for the rest of their life, they made a dedication to help people in of that minority class who they didn't like. Isn't that something we would like? I feel like, isn't that something you want in people, is for people to have ignorant beliefs and for them to change them and be better? And that's like the extreme, someone being racist and changing it. We don't even let people make a bad joke and come back from that. We don't let people make a mistake at all. And I think it is so dangerous.
It is, man, because it only takes, and we've both experienced that, man. Like not being able to fuck up because they're gonna make an example out of you. I feel like anybody who's been in that situation should know how it feels, and they shouldn't try to do that to somebody else. Like I feel like they're gonna try to take away that award he got.
I think they already did.
The situation, and he worked years and years and years and years and years and years to get that award. That's not like an overnight success. It took him a long time. And I feel like it only takes one time and then to fuck up, and everybody is gonna badmouth you and say you're horrible and you're violent and you're just not a good person, and forget about all the good shit you did. Like all that shit's out the door. And let's be honest, it could have been a lot worse. He could have really like beat the fuck out of him on stage, on TV, in front of millions of people, but he slapped him. It could have been a punch, you know. He could have made Chris Rock bleed. He could have slapped teeth out his mouth. He could have fucking slapped his eyeball out his head if he hit him hard enough. So it could have been a lot worse. And man, it was a slap. He doesn't deserve to lose that award. Maybe something else. I don't know. Maybe he can't come to next year's Grammy. Something like that. Or really just forgive it, man. I feel like everybody's hit somebody, man, at some point in their life. And even if it was jokingly, you still put your hands on somebody. And I feel like it shouldn't be blown out of proportion, because then they're just doing the same thing he did. They're overreacting to something that, doesn't have to be that serious. Did Chris Rock press charges?
No, I don't think he did.
So obviously he's not taking it that serious, or else anybody who was taking it serious like that, if he was, he would have pressed charges, or he would have fought back, if it was really that serious to him. They've both apologized to each other. It looks like they've handled it themselves. They don't need the Oscars to step in and handle anything else. Or was it the Grammys or the Oscars, bro?
It was Oscars.
All right, yeah. They don't need the Oscars to step in and police, bro. They've already handled it themselves.
Who polices the Grammys? I'm just like,
The Grammy police.
yeah, I
think it said the Grammy governors or something like that.
Really?
I think I saw that. Yeah, like the GGs.
Bro, it just goes to show you that like how show business people who are in show business and in Hollywood, they just live such a different life than everybody. Like they live in a fantasy world where they think they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. It's like first and foremost, like you can't get up and just slap the shit out of whoever you want in public like that. Without at least getting hit back. Like that's the crazy thing. Like
I feel like Chris should have shocked his ass or something.
I think so too, but also like I think Chris Rock handled it perfectly because he is on live television.
He did show composure.
Yeah, and he's just like whatever, like.
And that takes a lot.
He didn't even say a bad joke. He didn't even be like, bro, that's why your wife's fucking Alka. He could have said hella shit, bro. He could have got on that.
No, if he would have said that, it would have been a full. If he would have said that to Will.
Yeah, it'd be a full blown like fist fight, bro.
Yeah. I feel like that's what Will was mad about.
Oh,
he's mad at, and he's taking it out on the wrong person.
He's mad because he thinks the public. I think what happened was he was drinking, and at first he's like, the public has been making me and my wife look a fool for the last year and a half.
Really, it's his wife making him look a fool.
Yeah, but like, it's hard to like see that in all the emotion, and someone you love.
Yeah.
And so he like just saw red. He saw her mad. He's like, this is my time to defend her. Yeah. And he got mad, and then he slapped him, and then he yelled at him.
But that's why you gotta keep that shit private, man. Like I don't feel like at any point, no matter how famous you are, you should always try to keep your personal life, between you and whoever's in it. It shouldn't be broadcasted across the internet and TV, like that. Mm-hmm. Some things in life should always be private, like that whole situation could have been avoided if they weren't airing out their dirty laundry.
Yeah, that whole thing with her like talking about their entanglement, and dude, it's just another like those people live in such a different world, dude. Like their lives are online. Their lives are like manipulated onto a screen, where it's like it's not how life works. I think one thing that social media does is it amplifies the negative side effects of like like mental illness and narcissism just as much as it like brings apart like the way we can have this podcast and have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, all the benefits aside, it exemplifies narcissism. Most people who are extremely successful in show business, I would say, are a little bit narcissistic. You know, they like seeing themselves, they like hearing
Yeah.
things about them, they like getting awards and feeling prestigious, and that's okay. You know, it's to be self motivated and confident, but it makes it so like you have these reality TV show
Man.
things, sit downs, where just weird shit happens,
Yeah.
and it's mass propaganda making kids think they're nothing if they're not famous or beautiful at society standards or rich, and it's disgusting for one. But for two, it's like nobody gives a shit about you fucking like people care because of the clickbait and people will watch it, but nobody
Yeah.
really if you care about another man getting cheated on like to your core, if you care about that just because they're famous, you got your own problems to work out.
Yeah.
And
If
for
you care about anything that's going on, and if you care too much, about
yeah,
anybody who's famous, you know,
yeah,
I feel like it's a little weird,
yeah.
Like at some point you got to realize they're human just like you, It's not like they bleed differently or anything. We're all human, and it's it's a little weird to idolize them too much. Of course, you can have a favorite, or somebody you look up to in some type of way, or somebody who motivates you. But I feel like once it gets to a certain point, it's weird. Like when you're like over idolizing them, like to where you're projecting them as a god or something.
Yeah, and not that these are like your idols or anything, but like
Yeah.
who have you modeled your rap career after? Like who are your favorite rappers of all time who you like kind of like build off of, in a healthy way?
Man, I think Drake is the best of all time. I'm not gonna lie. I've always loved Drake, bro. Like favorite rapper ever, favorite rapper singer. Like, and he puts up the numbers, bro. Like you gotta look at how long he's been in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Been there forever. Like since I was seventh grade, eighth grade. All the way until now, and I'm 23. So I feel like Drake, and I don't take after Drake at all. I don't rap or make music like him, but I feel like he's number one for sure. And
If you had to say someone you do rap like, or you would like emphasize their style because you rap like them, who would it be?
shit, damn near most of Detroit, bro.
Yeah.
Damn near most of Detroit. I really, really, really think Peasy is super hard. He's my favorite Detroit rapper. I actually just I did a song with him not too long ago and shot a video.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I had said that in a different interview. They're like, if you could work with anybody, who would you work with? And I said, I'll work with Peasy. And I think like 3 months later, I ended up getting a feature from him and shooting a video. That shit was dope. Peasy definitely though. Like I can relate a lot to Peasy's music. I could take a lot from it.
That's super dope, bro. And like to
Yeah.
just to make music with someone you look up to that much, like it's
Yeah.
gotta be like it's almost gotta be like holy shit for a second. But then it's gotta be like, nah, I deserve this. Like this is like I'm gonna remember
Yeah.
this for the rest of my life type shit.
It was shocking to me, and when it first happened, I was like, God damn, this is crazy. I didn't think it was gonna happen that fast.
Mm-hmm.
But it happened like literally 2 months after that interview.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that now that you've like met people and you've created music and you've hit numbers, like your idea of success and fame has changed, has grown? Have you had a different outlook on what you think about people who get numbers? Like, has your mindset changed of what you think about rappers, what you think about fame and success?
I think there's a lot of actors, you know, like there's a lot of kids who hear what these rappers rap about, and then they go do it in real life. And I feel like these kids should understand that a lot of these guys aren't living what they're rapping, you know? Like, and they shouldn't take it like, oh, Little Dirk is out here killing people. Let me go kill people, or let me go rob somebody, or let me go break into somebody's house. You know, even if he was doing that before, he's not doing it right now.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, even if he did grow up like that, he's not doing that right now. And kids are taking that from music and actually going to commit these crimes. You know, so if there's one thing I could say is that they should understand it's entertainment. Like if they're watching a movie or a TV show, it's for entertainment. You know, there are some rappers who are still living what they're rapping about, but the majority of them are lying or making or rapping about something they used to do. You know, they're not doing it right now. And another thing is, I'm not really too worried about being famous. You know, if fame happens, it's gonna happen because I'm promoting myself on bigger platforms. You know, I'm not really chasing fame though at all. I'm really chasing money. You know, I want to get paid from this. I don't really care too much about being on a Drake level or a Little Dirk level. I want to be at the level where I can make you know 20 to 30K a month off shows and another 20 to 30K a month off features
Mm-hmm.
and another 20 to 30K a month off streams. You know, once I'm at that level, and you could be there without being famous. You know, that only takes a couple thousand fans. You know, maybe like I don't know, 10,000 solid fans out of all the people in the world. You know, to create that type of income. So I'm not really too worried about fame, but and if it came, I would take it. But it's not something I'm like stressing over. I'd rather get rich off of this shit than to be famous. There's a lot of famous people that are broke. A lot of famous rappers who are not living how you really think they're living. You know, and I've seen that while working with these people and traveling, and there's a lot of people who are lying and renting cars and renting Airbnbs. These are not their houses. These are not their cars. And most of the time, it's not real money they're throwing in that video.
Yeah, I always told myself that when I started doing like something like this podcast for the numbers or for the fame of it or for the cloud or for, I would stop doing it because I did
Not
this.
worth it.
It's not worth it. I did this because first off, didn't mean to. Second off, I did it because it's fun as fuck. I keep doing it because it's fun. I like talking to
Yeah,
everybody. And I started reaching like thousands of views, on clips and shows and stuff, and hundreds of views on full episodes. And I was like, this is dope, and I want more. I started getting greedy.
yeah,
I started thinking about the numbers, and I was like, people sit down and they are afraid to do anything, to start anything, but they really want to. And you did it, and you had the balls. So who gives a fuck who watches your shit? Like, you have people who are
yeah,
watching it, and you are good at what you do. And then I had I had a realization that it's not about fame. It's not about success, because you don't really want that. What you want is to like be successful enough to where you aren't like starving, and you can do
yeah,
things and you can live life and
yeah,
have luxuries. But you also want to do something that you feel fulfilled and you feel happy at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um, and you can't do that if you're chasing fame. You can do that if you're chasing something you love, or chasing more money because you're making money. You got to pick something though. You can't want, like, you can want it like, oh, my goal is 1,000 more fans, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Those are goals to have, good goals to have. But if you're like, I want more and more, and you get greedy, I think it's not worth it. Just have
yeah.
fun with what you do. You only get one life. Who cares what other people think of you?
Facts. And fans are different than being famous,
Mm-hmm.
because a fan is somebody who's generally, invested in what you have going on. And then fame is like everybody in the world knows you. You know, that's what it feels like. You know, and they don't care. They don't care what you got going on. They just want to hear bad news about you or something exciting about you, and that's what's going to keep you famous. Because good news doesn't really last long.
True.
You know, good news. Nobody wants to hear good news. If you look at, even if you look at all of the media coverage and you look at news stations, how often do you see good shit on there?
When it's something like insanely great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rarely see it. It's more like this many people died, or this fucking car accident over here,
Yeah.
or you never see, oh, Jimmy has a scholarship to every prestigious school in the country. You rarely see that. You know, you don't ever see anything that's positive on the media. You know, so that's where I feel like that correlates with fame. You know, if bad shit's happening to you, if you're doing bad shit, or if you're just having an unlucky time in your life, that's gonna keep you famous rather than you doing something good. You know, so that's why I feel like fame is different than having genuine fans. You know, people who care about what you have going on and are supporting it.
Yeah, yeah. I talked to this dude, Mickey Dunkley, and he's like a real estate videographer, but he calls those raving fans, you know, who are gonna buy all your shit, who are gonna listen to you, who are gonna do everything for you, and
Yeah,
it's people don't understand until like they start creating content. People don't understand what it's like to have like people listening to you or watching you. You know,
yeah,
it's a weird dynamic. You know, you know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah,
they're spending all this time with you, but you're not spending any time with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's a
That I never thought about it like that, bro.
yeah.
That is a little mind boggling right there.
It's a freaky thing to think about because it's like, you know, me and you have this conversation, and let's say 100 plus are going to watch it and listen to it. So let's say I'd say on a bad episode, 150 people are going to watch it and listen
Yeah,
to us and full thing. Like let's say that those are the full streams. They listen to the whole thing. That's 150 people who are going to listen to us and hang out with us without us at all, like without
yeah,
us knowing them. And then also you got to think about the thousands upon thousands of views that's going to happen with just clips. And it's like, and if you start thinking about that, it can really hurt your brain and be like, all right, what about when I got in the millions? You know, that's a million people who are like knowing who I am. And you start freaking the fuck out. And so it's like, you got to be careful when you're generating these raving fans, because they start to come into your lives in ways that like you know, you got to make sure you have like a close net group of people who you can be actually intimate with, because these people are going to come into your lives in ways that you don't even know if you want to be open to them about, you know?
yeah.
They start to learn things about you. They start to Google things about you. So all of a sudden everyone, they
It's
know everything
crazy
about you.
because
It's crazy.
that shit's really crazy because I just Googled myself recently, bro, and I have a Google Knowledge panel now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so there's a photo of me up there, and it says the record label that I created. I got an LLC for my record label. That's up under there now. All of my music videos pop up, and all of my music on Spotify, Apple, all of that shit pops up now. So it is crazy to think that people are out there Googling and searching for you, you know? Like, and I never thought about it how you just explained it. That shit's very weird, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like they're weird.
No,
I'm saying
no.
it's weird to think like they are spending time with us and we're not spending time with them.
Yeah.
That's
No,
crazy.
I'm not saying anybody listening to this is a weirdo. I'm saying
Yeah,
what we do. I do it with famous
yeah,
people all the time.
yeah, exactly. We
Yeah.
do it to
Yeah.
other people. So it's crazy to think about it that way. Because I don't know how many times I've played all of Drake's albums.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I don't know how many times I've done that. And the way you just explained it is like, damn, I know every word to every song, and he doesn't even know I exist.
Well, then you can start thinking about like how much hate Westbrook's getting right now just for basketball. It's like we have no idea what's going on in that man's head or his life or anything. We just know what happens when he shows up and he's videoed. You know, he's on TV
Yeah.
playing basketball, and you literally have no idea what people go through. You be calling NBA basketball players trash because they're on the bench because they break a shot, but it's
Yeah.
like like be careful. These people are people. They're just you just get
Yeah.
to spend time with them, and they don't even know who you are. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That
weird.
shit is that shit is very crazy. And I've always found it funny when people call like pro athletes trash,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I'm like, I don't think I've ever called a pro athlete trash, you know. I don't even really watch sports anymore at all.
Why not?
But I don't know, man. Even when I was playing sports, I never watched it, you know.
Yeah.
And I never really played Madden either, bro. I was more of an
Shit,
NCAA.
I get down on some Madden and ticket.
I, dude, I was NCAA all the way.
Oh
I
shit.
fucked with NCAA. That was my game. But I don't know, like I never really watched football. I just loved to play it, man. Like, but I never really enjoyed watching it too much. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I do it. I play football all day, like
Yeah.
7 days a week. You know, I just didn't feel like watching it when I was done with practice or games. You know,
Do you miss playing football?
I'm not gonna lie, I do, and that's only because I loved it so much, man. I played football from like 5 years old until I was 20. You know, so I played all the way through little league, all the way through elementary, all the way through middle school, all the way through high school, and 3 years of college. You know, so I played forever, bro. So it's hard for me not to miss it when that was my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, yeah, I totally know. I didn't play nearly as long as you. I only played sophomore year until senior year of college. So I played 7 years, which is still a
I
long
feel
time. Yeah.
yeah, that is a
Um,
long time. That's a very long time, bro.
but
I played for like 14 years total.
that's crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is insane.
I haven't had enough time off to where like I'm like able to miss it because like I
Yeah,
just ended this year, you know, this like
yeah,
last in November, and so like I haven't had a time. I can still itch though. I still get the itch. Like Nolan will text me to come out with like the young guys, and I'll be like,
yeah.
shit, dude, I kind of want to, but yeah,
Man,
it's hard to put the cleats down, you know.
yeah. I can't even I can't even believe I stopped playing ball, bro. I don't know. At some point, it wasn't fun to me anymore. You know, it
Yeah,
became like
a job.
it became dude in a job I didn't like. You know, like I never thought it would get to that point, but I thought I was already consumed with football. You know, like overly consumed in high school. Like that was all I did besides school and occasionally some other free time shit. But once I got to college, man, that shit was wake up at 4 in the morning, got weightlifting at 5 in the morning, go to class. After class, we have study hall, then weight room again. Now we're out on the field. You know,
Mm.
I would wake up at 4 in the morning and when wouldn't get done with school and football until like 10 at night.
Yeah, it becomes a shit ton of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, became very it became too much, bro. And I stopped enjoying it. You know, like
Yeah.
it stopped being like, oh hell yeah, we got football practice today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it became more like, damn, we got football
Yeah.
practice. You know, like
Yeah.
I was not excited about it anymore. It was more like a drag to have to do it.
Dude, I was getting like such bad anxiety with football. It was weird. Like I stopped. Like it was just like it become like, oh, I would worry about like fucking up, or I'd worry about like my spot getting taken, or I'd worry about like just something that shit that didn't really matter.
Yeah,
And it was causing me like absolute like bad dread and depression, and I hated it, dude. And then until this last year when I like balled the fuck out, got second team all conference.
hey, let's
And
go! Congratulations.
thanks, man. But that was like the last. It was like a good hurrah, like good goodbye. You know, I
Yeah,
was like it was fun again, and there was still some dread in there and some like, but it was like I had graduation goggles. You know, I knew I was
yeah,
done, so I had to enjoy it. Um, but yeah, man, anything that becomes like that. Sometimes I'm like. I'm at a podcast. I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to do this shit. It's like a job. But then I
Yeah.
do it and I'm like, let's fucking go. And I'll be like doing it and
Yeah.
I'll be having fun. I'll be flowing. But if I ever got on this podcast and I was talking, I was like, this shit is fucking boring, I would be done. Because what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
point in doing something you don't love? Like, people who do something that they hate, right? And I get it if you have a
Yeah.
family to feed and stuff.
Yeah.
If you have another option though, like I always love the quote. The quote goes, spend your weekends doing building the life you want to have instead of drinking away the one you hate,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love that quote because it's like you really can do that. If you hate your life, spend those weekends building up the habit or the skill you want to do,
Exactly.
instead of drinking away the sorrows you have. Like, yeah, going to get
Yeah.
a drink and celebrate, and it's all fun
Yeah.
and games once in a while. But like, why don't you just do what you want to do on those weekends
Yeah.
without money so that you can build the life you want to have,
Exactly. No, I respect that 100%, man, because I could never see myself, bro, doing that. I could never see myself working a job for 60 plus years, doing something I absolutely can't fucking stand. You know, like you said, I understand it for people who are feeding a family and they need that job right now, you know. But like you said, man, they definitely need to be investing their free time, anytime outside of work where they're not asleep or taking care of family or chores and shit, should be put into building their future and a better environment for them, because 60 years of doing something you hate, I know they're depressed,
Mm-hmm.
who wouldn't be, to have to do that for their entire life, so they should definitely be investing into something they love. Because once you start doing something you love, bro, it doesn't feel like a job, and until you don't love it anymore. So if you could find something that you really, really love and are genuinely invested in, it's never gonna feel like a job.
And that's the dream for everybody, right? That should be the
Yeah,
dream, at least. Like Alan
yeah,
Watts once said, is like we spend our time doing things that we don't want to do to keep on going on doing things we don't want to do. You continue
yeah,
living, you go to work to generate more money doing something you don't want to do, just so you
yeah.
can continue to go to work to spend time doing things you don't want to
Uh-huh.
do.
And it's damn near a trap,
It is a
because
trap. It's a rat race, bro.
some jobs will only pay you enough to survive to where you can never get ahead, which means you're relying on that now. Like they're gonna give you this much to survive, and you're gonna take it and you're gonna do what you need to do with it and come back to get that same thing you need to survive. Never, they'll never pay you enough to get ahead and separate yourself. It won't happen,
Mm-hmm. It's like you said, it's damn near a trap. It's it keeps the bottom people at the bottom, and the top people keep getting richer and richer and richer.
Yeah, man, that's crazy because when you really think about it, and I don't, no disrespect to anybody, because I've gone to college too,
Mm-hmm.
so I fell into that trap too. But I feel like schooling isn't to teach you how to be a boss. It's not. They're not teaching you how to run a Fortune 500 company. They're teaching you how to work for that company.
Yeah.
And unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
or something that's a skill set like that, college is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're being a doctor or a lawyer or anything else that falls under that type of work,
Yeah.
you absolutely need a degree
Mm-hmm.
to work,
I think we
But
should be finish what you were gonna say.
no, you go ahead, bro. You
I
good.
was just gonna say I think we should be pushing or like helping like kids think like, oh, you can go to trade school and learn a trade and like
Exactly.
make a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
owning a plumbing company than you can
Yeah.
getting a business
Yeah.
degree and
Yeah. There's a lot of jobs that people go to school for that you could really take a online course for, like an online training or just a small training. You don't have to really go get a degree to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel like I said, unless you're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or you're gonna work with some type of technology or something where you need a certain degree and a certain level of education to do so, college is definitely a waste of time when there's so many other options to get that same type of training and education,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Especially with all these internet accesses nowadays and
Man,
podcasts.
you could really learn anything on the internet now.
Yeah, you
Like,
gotta be careful because like you need to check your sources. But yeah, you can.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But like we have the entire world at our hands right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally anything you want to know, you can search on Google. You know, you don't, you could read a book. Any book you can find in the library, you can find right here on your phone now. You know, it's crazy.
What do you think your biggest tips for kids who want to start out making music would be?
Um, have fun. That would be my biggest tip, man. Because if this shit's not fun to you, you're not gonna like it. You know, and that's with anything. I feel like that's a tip to anybody who's starting anything new that they think they're passionate about. Make sure you're having fun, man. Try not to take yourself too serious, and don't be afraid to fuck up. You're gonna fuck up, and that comes with learning and getting better. Nobody who's good at anything didn't fuck up at it first, you know. So maybe don't take yourself too serious, and don't be afraid to embarrass yourself by yourself. Like, you know, if you're working on music and you're alone and, you know, you're at home, don't be afraid to say some stupid shit. It's just you in there, you know? Or if you're with your engineer, you know, it's just you and him, you know? Like don't take yourself too serious, have fun, and don't be afraid to fuck up. Those are my tips.
All right, man. Well, before we hop off this, like, do you have anything you want to talk about? You know, just to end the conversation.
Man, what do you want to talk about? We could talk about one last topic if you got one, man.
We can talk about music a little more because I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but like, what are you
Yeah.
working on currently? I know you said you were really writing, but now that your
Yeah.
son has been born, what are you gonna do going forward in the last half of 20?
Uh, I got two big features in the works. I'm not gonna say who
You don't
because
have to.
I haven't completely locked it in, but it's in the works, and there's some big artists that I would love to work with, and so I'm working on that right now. I've wrote 14 songs. I just got to go to the studio and record them, and I'm getting ready to move around a lot more. I could tell you that I won't be shooting any more music videos in Reno or Las Vegas or you know, I'm gonna be moving. I'm trying to hit all 50 states this year.
That'd be hard, bro. That'd be really hard.
Yeah, so I'm trying to shoot a video in every state. That's something I could tell you. Uh, other than that, man, I'm really gonna work on perfecting my craft. You know, not just because I already enjoy this shit and I already love it and it's already fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to build my vocabulary and be able to broaden my just broaden my capability, man. You know, I want to be able to push myself to a different level. You know, I actually just ordered a dictionary because I just told myself, I'm like, you know what, bro, I'm gonna read this bitch from front to back, and I'm gonna have my daily 5 words, and I'm just gonna really try to build my vocabulary and have a broader horizon on this shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to just perfect my craft at this point. I'm about to buy an in-home studio. I'm still gonna go to my engineer JT,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna buy an in-home studio, put it in my spare bedroom, and fucking just go at it. You
Yeah,
know?
man. Definitely. I think that's
So yeah,
exactly what you got to do, bro. Just keep you're a positive, big positive energy, man. You always have like, you know, like just a way of looking at the universe that like most people don't. It's very positive, and I think if you just keep doing what you need to do, keep grinding, it's only up. You know what I mean?
man, I appreciate that. Same to you, man. Vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only way something can definitely not work is if you quit. You know, so you have a better chance of something working by not giving up than you do of, you know, fuck this shit. You know, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you don't give up, you still have a chance of making something happen.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Well, man, this was fun. Thank you so much for coming on for the second time.
man. Thank you for having me, man. It's always a joy to be on here, man.
Yeah.
We always get into some deep ass conversation, and you
Yep.
know, I like that. I like that about your podcast, man, because you you bring up conversations that other podcasts and other platforms don't. You know, other platforms are usually cookie cut questions.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
this isn't cookie cut.
no,
This
it's
is
like,
this is a genuine conversation.
yeah. Why
So I like
I
that.
feel like why have conversation if you're gonna just sit here and talk about fucking shit that nobody cares about,
Yeah.
you know? Talk
You
about
know what
something
your
that you care about.
podcast kind of reminds me of? I think I said this last time, but Adam 22,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
he's not cookie cut at all either.
No, he's
You know,
not.
it's just all like on the go. And I
Mm,
think that's how it should be. It's just like a genuine conversation. Like, shouldn't be the same 10 questions for everybody, you know?
no, I shouldn't, man.
Yeah. So you keep doing what you're doing, bro. This is great.
Thanks, man. You
For
too.
real.
And hold on.